Hello and welcome to or back to my channel. I am Kit, your friendly feminist cat lady spinster. And today we're going to talk about Lila Rose and pro-life activism. More specifically, the activism of live action. Recently, Classically Abby posted an ad for live action, and in it she says, "Pro-life and pregnant. I waited my whole life to say those two words back to back. Being pregnant, feeling my baby kick, seeing ultrasounds of my baby's little legs and arms, now I know firsthand what I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for the baby that was genetically determined the moment my husband and I conceived. I'm fighting for the little heart that began beating at 22 days. I'm fighting for the little person who relies on my body for nourishment. I'm fighting for the life of an infant who needs me to be its mother. Every single day, 2,363 babies are aborted. Follow LiveAction.org and Lila Rose Official so that you can fight too." So, first off, no one is going to make you have an abortion, Abby. There is no roving band of abortionists snatching pregnant women off the streets. What you are fighting for is to force women to remain pregnant against their will and possibly to the detriment of their health. Second, this post from Abby didn't really surprise me. She's very vocally anti-choice. But what really caught my attention was paid partnership. This is what live action gives money to when there are roughly 12 million children facing food insecurity in the United States, when 1 in 6 children live in poverty, when our maternal mortality rates are the highest among industrialized nations. And finally, even if assuming that all Lila Rose and live action cares about is babies, what about our abysmal infant mortality rate? These are not things that are set in stone that we have no power to change, but not a whisper of any of that on their pages. It's all about abortion. To be clear, I'm not saying their extreme anti-abortion stance would be okay if everything were perfect. It's never okay to think you can dictate what another person does with their life and body, and Mama Dr. Jones has an excellent video about why these heartbeat laws are a bad idea. But given all the things that we could do in the United States to improve life, it's egregious to me that abortion is what live action has chosen to focus on. And to me, it seems hypocritical that they're all about saving babies, but they don't care if those babies see their first birthday or go hungry. And if you're wondering what makes me call their anti-abortion stance extreme, they believe abortion is never medically necessary to save a woman's life. Per Dr. Levatino, I was faculty at the hospital for 9 years, and I saw hundreds of cases of really severe pregnancy complications. And in those 9 years, I saved hundreds of women from life-threatening pregnancies. And I did that by delivering them, by ending their pregnancy by delivery, either induction of labor or cesarean section, delivering the baby. And I always tell people, in all those years, the number of babies that I was obligated to deliberately kill in the process was 0. None. They also believe if a preborn child is likely to die shortly after birth or has other challenging prenatal diagnoses, abortion is still not needed and will all die eventually anyway. So, too, if a preborn child will die shortly after birth, compared to many of us who will die decades after birth, we who live longer do not have a right to end the lives of those who live shorter. Lila Grace Rose was born on July 27, 1988, and she was raised in San Jose, California. She's the third of 8 children and was homeschooled throughout high school. She majored in history at the University of California, Los Angeles. Though initially raised as an evangelical Protestant, she later became Catholic, and as she tells it, she became pro-life at the age of 9 after seeing an image of an aborted baby in a book at home, which caused her to ask, who could do this to a baby? Lila Rose founded Live Action in 2003 at the age of 15. Per their website, Live Action is dedicated to ending abortion and building a culture of life in America and beyond. We believe that every human life has intrinsic value and rights. We expose the truth about abortion and counter the misinformation campaign of the multi-billion-dollar abortion industry and lobby. Today, we host the largest online presence for the pro-life movement with millions of followers throughout the United States. So there's a lot of stuff that I would like to talk about on their website, but today I'm interested in what they do. You give them money and So under what we do on their website, they list our work, our investigations, and impact. Live Action, a leading pro-life group of individuals, uses the power of storytelling, investigative journalism, and visual media to lead the national conversation on the rights of the preborn. Our work is saving lives, supporting legislative efforts to protect preborn children, and inspiring millions of people to educate their communities with the truth about abortion. We have the largest social following in the pro-life movement. Every week, through our compelling videos, engaging social media posts, and live action news stories, We give millions of Americans encounters with the humanity of the preborn and expose the horrific human rights abuses committed by the abortion industry. If you had only 4 minutes to change someone's mind about abortion, what would you do? We took this challenge and our abortion procedures videos to the streets, and the results were astounding. Also, on this section, they have a link to donate and sign a petition to ban the abortion pill. Per the petition, in 2000, the FDA approved the abortion pill for the killing of preborn children. Since then, more than 3.7 million babies have been poisoned to death, thousands of women have been hospitalized, and at least 24 women have been killed by this drug. Naturally, sourcing this thousands of women was difficult, but I did eventually find an article that cited the FDA as their source. So the FDA has updated their adverse events report on mifeprex, also known as the abortion pill, with 2 additional deaths since December 2018. The previous report released last year on adverse events of the abortion regimen from 2000 to 2017 showed 22 deaths. Now, an update states, as of December 31st, 2018, there are reports of 24 deaths of women associated with mifeprex since the product was approved in September 2000, including 2 cases of ectopic pregnancy resulting in death and several cases of severe systemic infection, also called sepsis, including some that were fatal. They're upset about 24 deaths in 18 years. Where is their outrage and activism for the 700 women who die every year in the United States from pregnancy and delivery complications? In 18 years, that's 12,600 women. We celebrate every changed mind, but there's nothing quite so sweet as hearing about the children's lives saved because their mothers learned the truth about abortion and chose life. Why do I get the feeling that their idea of a woman seeking an abortion is a college student or young professional who has family behind her willing to help out and the resources able to make a good life happen for her and her potential baby, but is just choosing abortion because she wants to continue partying? The reality is that the reasons most frequently cited were that having a child will interfere with a woman's education, work, or ability to care for dependents, 74%, that she could not afford a baby now, 73%, and that she did not want to be a single mother or was having relationship problems, 48%. Nearly 4 in 10 women said they had completed their childbearing, and almost 1/3 were not ready to have a child. Fewer than 1% said their parents' or partner's desire for them to have an abortion was the most important reasons. Or, women's reasons for seeking an abortion fell into 11 broad themes. The predominant themes identified as reasons for seeking abortion included financial reasons, 40%, timing, 36%, partner-related reasons, 31%, and the need to focus on other children, 29%. Most women reported multiple reasons for seeking an abortion crossing over several themes, 64%. I'll leave some links to real women's stories below. Media Bias Fact Check rates live action as conspiracy pseudoscience, so I'll let everyone research their investigations themselves if they so choose. However, I would like to note that if someone is doing something wrong, dangerous, or illegal, I'm all for investigating and righting that wrong. But what do they think would happen if abortion was made illegal? Everything they allege is happening now would become worse because there would be no way to report it without admitting to having or seeking an abortion, and there would be no laws in place to regulate it. So, if you are actually uncovering corruption and unsafe practices, thank you, Lila. But please think about what banning abortion would mean for everyone who seeks one. Macro social movements begin at the micro level by changing the hearts and minds of individuals. Live action is exposing abortion for the grave human rights violation that it is, and we are creating an environment where life is the top human rights priority for our local and national leaders. We mobilize activists and give them the tools and resources they need to educate their own communities about the right to life. We publish one of the most widely read news sites on pro-life issues. Live Action News reports daily on stories the mainstream media often refuses to cover, including exposés of the abortion industry and stories revealing the dignity and humanity of preborn children, inspiring our readers to defend the most vulnerable within their communities. They also link to the website abortionprocedures.com, which they describe as, the videos feature a former abortionist describing each of the 4 most prevalent abortion procedures accompanied by medical animations. The 4-minute videos have been translated into multiple languages and shared over 500,000 times to become the most viewed pro-life videos in history, with over 150 million views. Interestingly, the front page of abortionprocedures.com has a video of a second trimester D&E right at the top. I can't imagine why that choice was made. It's also the first option on the header. Other options are aspiration, pills, induction, the story, and get help. These videos are hosted by Dr. Anthony Levatino, a pro-life OBGYN. I watched the videos, and to me it sounds like he's using language to get you to come to the conclusion he wants you to. Of course, the same could be said about me, though I am doing my best to be neutral. Each page has an FAQ section, and these 2 jumped out at me. If a mother changes her mind after taking RU486, she might still be able to save her baby, especially if she has not yet ingested the second drug. To increase her chances of saving the baby, progesterone must be administered as soon as possible to counteract the effects. However, per Science Daily, women who initiate medical abortion but opt to stop in the middle of treatment may be at risk for serious blood loss, a study finds. Researchers found this to be true even for women who use an experimental treatment that claims to reverse the effects of the abortion pill. The study provides important insights into the safety of using high doses of progesterone during early pregnancy to try to stop a medical abortion. Per Fox News, Levatino stopped performing abortions after his young daughter's death. So why is he allowing himself to be associated with this sort of misinformation that can put women's lives in danger? On the induction page, there's a question inquiring about the legality of late-term abortion in the states. And per the answer, at the federal level, abortion is legal in the United States up to 9 months of pregnancy. While some states have enacted prohibitions on abortion, including restricting the procedure after a certain point in pregnancy, other states permit abortions without exception. Is it just me, or does that sound like abortion is legal anytime, mostly anywhere? In reality, only 7 of 50 states have no restrictions. There's also a question about medical supervision during this type of abortion, and per the answer, after administration of labor-inducing drugs, the woman often waits for labor at home or in a hotel. If she cannot make it to the abortion clinic in time for her delivery, she may be advised to call the abortion clinic and labor over the toilet. During this time, the woman does not have direct or immediate supervision. That is just flat out lies. Every source I've looked at has never mentioned sending a woman home to labor over a toilet. For an induction, you would be in a hospital. And at the bottom of the abortion procedures page, there's a disclaimer. Please note, this website has been researched and reviewed by physicians for medical accuracy. However, it is not intended to constitute medical advice or replace the individualized counsel of a doctor. So I guess they've covered themselves. My first thought, give them money and they'll create items you can wear to show how pro-life you are, and images to display on your social media so you can post about how pro-life you are. My second thought, the preborn is the first concern, and the pregnant person is such a disconcern they're not even considered. And finally, I'm sure 15-year-old Lila was sincere in her belief to save babies, but now, what are they actually doing to mitigate the need for abortion? What are they doing to build a culture of life? Simply being born isn't living, and I see no mentions of them helping families or fostering children or donating to disaster relief or volunteering or anything. It's all focused on banning abortion, and I'm not convinced that Lila really believes that making abortion illegal will end it. Or is it simply that she'll sleep better knowing that abortion is illegal in her country, and if a few women are sacrificed along with their preborn children, it serves them right for seeking an abortion in the first place? Do these preborn advocates think about what life is actually like for a struggling family? I have no doubt it's easier to focus on making abortion illegal. There's a simple path to set about getting there, and you know what your goal is. However, when you're trying to get at the reasons people have abortions, well, that's a lot more complex, and there is no easy solution. It would take a lot more work and effort. However, I can't help but think that one who is so concerned about the preborn would be just as, if not more, concerned for the born. The born are the ones that feel fear, despair, pain, and they are the ones that experience trauma they'll carry with them throughout their lives. That's not to say that if your upbringing won't be perfect, you shouldn't be born. I don't think anyone really has a perfect life. But instead of making life more difficult for people, you would think Lila would be focused on helping people. Of course, from everything I've read, her focus is on the preborn, not the women and families, so perhaps she simply doesn't care. Or perhaps this is simply an easy way for her to make a living. As Mama Dr. Jones said, abortion isn't good, abortion isn't bad, it simply is. And it has always existed and will always continue to exist until we find a way to precisely control fertility. And until that happens, banning it won't stop it. Comprehensive sex ed and affordable and accessible birth control will stop unwanted pregnancies. A higher minimum wage, along with affordable housing and childcare, will lessen the need for abortion. And universal health care will help with our maternal and infant mortality rates. Why isn't Lila advocating for any of the above? She talks about how many people live action reaches. She could really do something. Part of the battle is having the right people listening to you, and I'm sure she could do that. Or perhaps it's like Pastor Barnhart said, the unborn are simply the most convenient to advocate for. And that is it for this video. I think I'm just going to leave it at that. I hope you have a good day, and I will see you in the next video.